Fabulous. I got goosebumps through all of that from both of you. Thank you. Okay, so lots to think about there. We're going to change tone a little bit now, okay? Because some of you who have been to the Advisory Council before will know that one of the things that from the very beginning we have felt is incredibly important is the role of the arts and culture and storytelling in our society. And who tells the stories, who gets to tell their stories, how are they told, where are they heard, where are those spaces, and how those stories affect society, how they affect culture and attitudes. So that role of kind of arts and culture from day one has been an important thread that has run through all of our work. And actually the amazing work that Linda is doing here on our illustration even is a bit of a kind of nod to that version of visual storytelling of what we're talking about. So I'm delighted that we're able today to give the floor to the amazing Minnie Jethwa. Now, Minnie has worked as a writer and filmmaker with award-winning documentaries and human rights. She graduated from the University of Westminster with a BA in filmmaking, screenwriting, and she's attended the National Film School, and she's a recent member of the BBC's New Writers Scheme and is trained through BBC Migrations and has written several short films for BBC Films and Glasgow Media Access. She's also sold out award-winning showcases here at the Dundee DCA and has had huge success at the Edinburgh Festival and Karachi Film Festival also. She's been shortlisted for script writing, several kind of shows including EastEnders, Casualty, Hollyoaks, River City and comedy sketches for TV and radio. Her films have been used by a whole range of organisations, including Abertay University, where she is a video producer and works with forensic science students, as well as teaches writing and filmmaking to young people across the UK. But also, Minnie performed the amazing The Last Queen of Scotland. And I don't know if any of you caught this, and it's kind of run in stages across Scotland, but also online. But we're going to create some space for Minnie to tell us about being the last Queen of Scotland. Thank you.
Hi. Oh, it's good to be here today. So how I came about the last Queen of Scotland, I was born in Uganda, and Idi Amin had obviously forced all the Asians out in 90 days. And he'd called himself the last King of Scotland. So when I'd got kicked out of Uganda, I felt like he took Africa from me. So I thought, you can't have Scotland as well. And that made me think about all the things that I wanted to say to him, because he changed my life with that one decision. And I started writing these conversations that I kind of would have liked to, things that I would have liked to have said to him about, what do you know about Scotland? Wearing a kilt doesn't make you Scottish. So that started to make me think, because I was turning 40, and it was 40 years since the expulsion of the Asians from Uganda, that maybe I should start writing something about that experience and the impact that it had on my life. And so I wrote the play, and I decided to call it Last Queen of Scotland, taking the title back from Idi Amin, because he was a boxer, and I decided to go in the boxing ring with him. Sort of metaphorically through those words and in the play. So the play was on at Edinburgh Fringe, and it sold out in a couple of days. And today I'd like to just read an extract of the play, which was about me, right? The play is about me writing the play. So I went to Uganda to do the research on the play, and this extract is when I go to meet Mr. Mehta, who was who is still very influential in India and in Uganda. He owns a lot of the sugar plantations, and he's very close with Idi Amin. And I went to his house to interview him. Mr. Mehta was tall and distinguished like Indian royalty. He was dressed smartly, professional, and he was always graceful in how he put things. We were sat round his dining table in this mega mansion, and he kept saying to me, "You speak Scottish." He would speak to me in Gujarati, and I answered in Scottish. He talked about the Israelis and how even after thousands of years of persecution, they still teach and speak Hebrew. He said, maintain identity. You can assimilate with cultures, but you must know your roots. These are the extra strengths in life. I wanted to tell Mr. Mehta, I didn't forget my language. It was taken from me. I had to speak the Dundee banter to survive. My mum and dad had stopped speaking Gujarati around the house. They also stopped speaking Swahili and Luganda when they got to Fintry. Amina told Mr. Mehta that they could stay, the Asians, and that he would allow permits for his workers, but that never lasted. And the soldiers, they started to raid the camps. Mr. Mehta had to keep a low profile, but he said one night the soldiers came to force him to leave or they'd kill him. But he'd hid this helicopter in the sugarcane and he got out of Uganda that way. But then he said after all the hoo-ha, they asked him back because they couldn't run the plantations or the businesses without him. Mr. Mehta went on about the whole series of stories about what Uganda went through. Then he said, he used to come here, Idi Amin. He talked to me. Mr. Mehta said he was a friend, if you could call anyone like him a friend. Very charming when he was sober, big personality. But when he got into a fit of anger, he was like an animal. Mr. Mehta's face was slowly churning, and the more he said his name, the worse it was getting. He started to speak slower and slower, and he said, I told him not to do it. I told him not to do that, to expel the Asians. It will affect the economy of Uganda forever. The peahens made a racket in the garden, and I couldn't quite filter it out. Mr. Mehta's looking dead straight at me when he said it again. Where you are sitting, Amin has sat in that chair. I couldn't breathe. I felt him right there. The first time I had got so close to Idi Amin in real life. You see, I'd never met him, but I felt like I did because he was with me from the very start. Idi Amin Dada had got me again. He annihilated the whole mission in a oneer, reminding me of all the bad things, the casual guy, the black tiny feet in jelly sandals, and how the maniacs never ever leave you alone. I had to get the crew gathered pronto, and my head was done writing. I got a hold of Michael. He was lost, and I was lost. We were meeting Moses, and his directions were beyond rubbish. He kept calling and calling and calling, and the streets in Uganda just made no sense. They were all gutters and holes. It was well dark that night. We schlepped about the whole place. This screeching, kind of hellish gospel blares from a church. The phone was going, and I was pure crapping myself. The screeching goes higher. It wasn't Moses on the phone. It was Snaggles' wife. Snaggles was the guy that had helped me write my play, and I couldn't quite get what she was saying, but I knew what it was. I got off the bike and I stood there. The racket got louder. Michael stood there gawping. I saw the Boars Rock in Dundee. I seen Snaggles pure staring at us, his Wrangler jeans, his dirty nails, and my mum saying blue-black. Right there in the depths of Kampala, I gave it some Jagger and Shoom. Niall, my mate in Dundee, said, Snaggles stood up for you. That was piercing right through me. That God Almighty noise churned my guts. Michael goes looking at the church. Someone has passed. I kissed the Kampala canvas that night and thought about Snaggles saying, write about him. And I knew then I couldn't write anything, especially about Idi Amin. It was all pointless. I tried to hold it together and I kept repeating what I'd been told. Don't show them any signs of weakness. Never show them emotion. I was standing in Hooters crying. What a name for a reggae club. I wasn't planning to go mental, but it was all getting to me. Kampala City. I told Michael it was kicking my arse, and he said there's one reality in Kampala. He went on about the levels. You need to control them or they will control you. It was raining so heavy that night and I'd had enough of it all. You know, the whole Idi Amin thing. I was trying to picture my mum going to school in Lugauzi. I was picturing them driving that ginger and Terby road to the airport the day they left. The car being stopped. The soldiers. Kamamayo! Kamamayo, the searches, those searches, the car stops, the roadblocks, luggage being searched, more blocks. Mambara the driver helped us. We could never look the soldiers in the eye. My mum said we had to keep our heads down. Keep your head down and get on with it. They took everything. Plastic bangles, photos, books, anything they could get their hands on. They checked everywhere, right inside your clothes. Their hands were so black. I saw my mum standing in the kitchen in Dundee rolling chapatis when she said, I tried to stop them. The rain, it wouldn't stop. I was stone cold, Ganesh-style epi, proper, dead in my tracks. The Rastas were chewing at the Milla and dancing, and they drank Bond 7 from carryouts under the table, and they were just blinking at me. I couldn't remotely dance. The roadblocks, the searches at night. I felt the soldiers' hands rummage right through my guts. I suddenly got so angry. I thought about Idi Amin, walking about all lavish and full. I saw my dad's shop in Ginger, Mola Atta and Sons, and our house, plot 16 on Madvani Road. I was wiped to the floor. I was born here. I ranted in my mother tongue. Dundee and the Boars Rock flooding right into Kampala City. I couldn't stop the rain soaking my face. But I knew the suffering had not ended, not for Africa or me. It just went on. I thought about him, Idi Amin, dressed in our tartans, drinking our whiskey and the blackest bagpipes of wood, shagging all his women, and how not one drop of his people's pain had hit him. Indian Mzungu in Africa, they shouted. But I was like, I'm not a Mzungu, I'm fake Uganda. The streets of Fintry came right back. Findus curry pancakes, my sister snogging Elvis the pelvis, rolled up chapatis with marmalade. My wee sister running through Rothis Park, playing football, Dougie lads, how cool, better than bend it like some cunt Beckham. I was thinking thoughts in Gujarati and Scottish, and I hear that in my head, and it sounded just like Burns and his top-notch flow. Welcome him. Then another right hook to the head. Pure scalp to the pus, just thinking about my mum standing at Dundee train station with 3 kids and pregnant, watching her get the number 9 bus to Ninewells Hospital by herself, having my wee sister, and all of that Fintry, Dundee, the pelters just kept coming. My dad working at 6 a.m, Michelin broke his hands and drinking his tenants from them cans. The endless news he watched, 2468, we don't want to integrate. My wee brother crying, that AC/DC denim jacket splattered with blood after some man punched him to fuck. And I kent then that things would have been so much better if we never got kicked out. I felt so much loss outside Hooters. And when I get back from those adventures, I show my mum the pictures of our old house in Uganda. I show her this one, and she just says, "That's not it." That made me so angry. The whole Uganda mission had been a total waste of time. From Dundee to Kampala and all the way back, for what? Niall, my pal in Dundee, comes round that night. Niall's always on about, "Why are you so angry?" And that made me angry as fuck. I tried on bended knees. I prayed to all them Hindu gods, and ken there's a lot. I even got this picture of our special god, Shir Lirbai Mataji. And I said to her, "Ken, my heart's hurting, mak it go awa." She never did now. See, I don't know what kicked it off that night, but things were no good. Niall wasn't his usual self, and I was banging on about Uganda and how nothing went right. And that's because of him. You know, he says, Niall, to me, I blame everything on Idi Amin, and I just did this to him. That wasn't a good move, because he starts to go on like, "You're stuck in an Idi Amin loop. Go on, rewind and check it out. You've pure hug and tailed that to buggery. Go on, let him have another pounding." And I wasn't even caring. I was like, "Dinna even start." But he wasn't having it. I tried to cut him off, and it never worked. And Niall says, "Check the Mill Lavies. You might find Idi Amin there." So I went after him full pelt and gave him what for, you know. And I said, I never trusted a word he said. That totally flipped his lid. And he goes into this rant about, "You can't keep going on about Idi Amin. You brought him to Dundee. And now you could boot him out. It's para thinking he's chasing you through Charleston Drive and all the other lunatics you find to keep him alive. It's no what you see with your eyes in those dingy dark holes. It's what you feel. And you ken who to trust. You ken that all right. Growing up in the schemes and being the only Indian, and you're telling me you survived that without kenning who the good cunts really were. The Scottish spirits, them laddies that always looked after you. I bet you can name them all now. So I did. Slowly, the names came back to me. Dyer, Peen, Walker, Miller, Colgate, Hippie, Stotty, Lammy. That's the names you should be saying, not Idi Amin. Keep them alive. You say his name more than anyone else's. Like you say he's not your king. It's the Scottish people that made you who you are, gave you a heart, and all them nights of proper banter. I seen you on them rolls, but what are you saying now? He's got you. Won at last. He goes on. It's been sair as fuck for me to see you like that, going all the way through it and never getting out from under him. Idi Amin, is he worth it? What's the point in fighting him anyway? What's the point in fighting him? Honour, Niall. What do you know about it, white boy running the schemes? You've got your spar in the brew. What do you care? My dad got his shop taken off him. 7 shitty pounds in 90 days to leave everyone in Uganda, except the soldiers. See, I still see them marching right through the streets of Douglas. And if someone told me when I was growing up here in a culture where it's all about a pint and peanuts, 9 to 5, get on with it, be a missus, football rules, Dundee versus United, Adler against Fintry, Whitfield Shams, deep fried fitters, single fags smoked outside Berzones, straight up standing in the dole queue. If I kent then that some laddie was going to be my best mate, all those days I tried to run on Balloony Drive, Eddie Amin, wandering about the cul-de-sacs of the Stobie. It was you out at Abdi that fought them tyrants in the toddy with me and made us laugh. And I see my mum and dad, and they're proud. That's it. Them's the true battles, ains of the heart. And before I ken it, me and Niall are now sitting on the law thinking, will this ever work? 'Cause see, me and Niall, we go to the law that night. Niall said that I'd eaten the flesh of the dead, Eddie Amin and Mahid. So we had to get rid of him with this voodoo-busting ritual, milk and rice thrown out as the sun rises, and we sing and chant and do this mantra to try to some kind of Highland fling and Indian dancing to try and get rid of Eddie Amin from Dundee for good. So we're doing this thing. Om Namo Narayana, Om Naro Narayama, Om Namo, right on the Law Hill. You know, it was pretty mental, and I had to admit it. It was weird. I did it though, because sometimes you'll try anything. You know, I'd gone my 10 rounds and I was ready for the final blow. Niall wasn't chanting properly. He was sort of gobbing and spitting like a pure mink. He can't light his fag. So we cower inside his coat and it's freezing cold. And he goes, why are we even doing this? Why are you even writing this? And I said after a bit, it's my love letter to the D for giving us a hymn. And then he just winks, and it happened. It was supersonic, subtle at first, but I heard it in the mighty, mighty Scottish wind. Ding, ding, ding. I'd won the title at last. Geese the belt. I've won it fair and square, punch by punch, blow by blow, 40 years ago. Now that crown belongs just to me, the last Queen of Scotland. And I saluted him, Eddie Amin, goodbye. And then I just pelted my poem out, my final words to Eddie Amin. I said to him, I had a dream today, and in it God told me to expel the Asians in 90 days. I have a dream about him and the noises he makes. People like to make a noise, even in their words, which can be patter. Lucky if you hear the pitter-patter. Some people love the sound of their own voices, so much so they think they are king. They even call themselves a king. But no one can do that, can they? What does he know about Scotland? Wearing a kilt doesn't it make you Scottish with your 90 wives, some say more. Fathered a load of kids he's ignored. The greatest brute Mother Africa brought to life. One, a true king. The other wasn't any kind of king. Did he know Scotland? I don't think he ever heard the bagpipes. Inhale, a broth boil, a football, count the cribbies, exhale. I'm running up that brae and I'm thinking he had the patter all right. And he fooled a lot of people with his sound bites. I am the true hero of Africa. And in these words I have said, I've just bled and truth has been spread. All across this mountain, Scotland, my mountain home, Scotland the brave. But I'm always afraid, because I can still hear him, and I listen to the noises he makes. It's in the darkness you just haven't met. Whispers in your head, mighty, mighty flags. And then I feel his beats, thundering, fear hovering always near. But it keeps me listening for another kind of noise. And then I hear him, the real king, say, just to me, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
Wonderful. That was absolutely fantastic, and you just couldn't hear a pin drop in the room. That was really amazing. And that's the thing about the power of stories. We all have stories, all of us. I just only wish that I was able to tell mine as eloquently as you. Jiminy, that was beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to have a comfort break. Okay, so time to kind of reset our thinking. So just to kind of keep things kind of moving along. So comfort break, 10, 15 minutes. So I think we'll kind of come back and go straight into our discussions. Okay, so 15 minutes and then we'll be back at 15:15 to start our discussions. Thank you.